So I had a friend once who a part of the reason the friendship didn't work, or towards the end of the friendship rather, an argument came up, and the argument was about me changing, me not being the person I guess they knew or they thought they knew. And they took offense to me changing, and I took offense to them seeing me changing, or seeing the changes in me as something negative, or as or pretty much saying that I'm not supposed to change. And my response to her at the time was, but why shouldn't I change? What is wrong with me changing? Anything that doesn't change is stagnates. It's like a pool of water that stinks, that fungus and bacteria grows in. Change is necessary. And I don't remember getting a response from her, and if I did get the response, I don't remember what the response was. But it led me to thinking, why did she see the changes that I made? And she was correct. I did change. I grew in more ways than one. But why did she see that as a bad thing? Because all the changes that I made were changes that were necessary. It was pretty much me maturing, pretty much me learning how to prioritize things in life. Things that I would dedicate a significant amount of time to, I wouldn't. It was me taking time out to reflect, time out to consider at length why I did the things that I did, why the things that were important to me were important to me. What was I gaining from spending time with certain people? What were the things that made me happy? What was my purpose in life? What I wanted to pursue? The expectations I had of myself, the things that displeased me about myself, the things that I liked within myself. It was more so internal work that at some point in time I think everyone has to spend time or set aside quality time to do. And she was offended by it. And in considering why she was so offended about me changing and changing for the better, me maturing and growing emotionally, I realized that she was offended because she benefited from, or me not changing, me stagnating. She benefited from that greatly. It meant pretty much that I had no boundaries, so I'd be on the phone with her for hours, listening to her problems, trying to help her work her things out, and know that I resurrected some boundaries, and I was only willing to stay on the phone for maybe 30 minutes, and my response to things changed. She was displeased because I no longer served her in the way that she grew accustomed to being served. So she took offense to the new me, or the changed me per se, because though that person served me, myself well, though that person was wiser, though that person was more mature, and though that person was able to set standards and rules that benefited myself, they were standards and rules that did not benefit her. So she was no longer receiving what she wanted out of me. And so though that is a positive to me, it was a negative to her. And yes, it was painful that that's how she received it, or she wasn't supportive of me doing the work that I needed to do. In some ways, it made me happy too. Because, there's this proverb that my mother always says, and it's, if you don't mash ants, you won't know their gut. And in a sense, it's like she's essentially saying you won't know who you're surrounded with, or you don't truly know a person until you've made them uncomfortable in more ways than one, or until life presents circumstances that put a few hurdles or obstacles in the friendship. So as painful as it was, a part of me was happy. Happy to know that we weren't friends because we had a lot of similarities. We weren't friends because we were looking in the same direction, or our lives were headed in the same direction. But we were more so friends because it was convenient for her, or she received something from me. And it's not to say that I didn't receive something from her, from the friendship too. As painful as it was when the friendship ended, I considered it to be a good thing. Because anyone who doesn't celebrate needed changes, or anyone who doesn't celebrate you maturing or you getting to a place where you can set boundaries and have your priorities straight, isn't your friend. Anyone who doesn't encourage you to change for the better and encourages you to stagnate isn't a friend.